The minor 11th chord. The minor 11th chord. Remember, minor means to flat the third, and in every chord you're gonna flat the seventh, except for the minor chord. I'm sorry, except for the major chord. Let me repeat that again. Remember, it's a minor chord, or should I say a minor 11th chord. So the word minor just means, don't get confused off all these big words and stuff. The word minor just simply means flat the third, and that's it. And we're also going to flat the seventh because we do that in every chord except for the major chord. So, uh, and we do, and in this case, we're going to use all odd numbers until we reach the highest number. In this case, which is 11, because we're doing a minor 11th chord. And this chord here is used in jazz more than any kind of music. I'm not saying the other styles of music don't use it. It's just that I think it's used in jazz more than anything. So we're going to start in the key of C since most people understand the key of C. So we're going to use here's a scale: one, two, the C scale: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, don't get confused just because I went all the way up to the number 11. All I did is repeat it. When I got to C, I repeated the same letters over again. That's all I did. So, in other words, I said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And notice 8 is the same thing as a 1, which is C. So what I'm going to do, just so you don't get confused, I'm going back to C. We already called this 8, so I'm going back to C. Using the same notes again. So this is 8, so this would be 9. So that means your 9 is the same thing as a 2. So 1, 2, or 8, 9. 9 and 2 is the same thing, and I'll show you why I did this in a minute. That's 9, 10, which we never use the number 10, but I'm just showing you for theory's sake, just to show you the theory of it. So I'm going to go back to 8. 8 is the same as a 1, then 9 is a 2, 10, that's 3 actually. When you get to 11, remember, if you get confused and you don't want to count all the way to 11, just remember that in 11 is the same thing as a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 and 4 is the same thing, so you don't have to get confused. So when we're doing the 9, remember a 9 is the same thing as a 2. And remember, 11 is the same thing as a 4, or a 4 is the same thing as 11, however you want to put it. So let's put that with our 11th chord. And I didn't say 11th chord. I meant minor 11th chord. That's what I really meant. Minor. I did say 11th chord, but I meant minor 11th chord. So here's your minor 11th chord. And remember how we're going to do it. We're going to use all odd numbers. So in this case, that's the reason why I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Because I think it's easier to be able to learn how to build the chords up by just using odd numbers. So in this case, we're going to use a 1, 3, and remember, take this 3 down a half step because it's a minor third, which means you flat the third, since it's a minor 11th chord. So 1, flat the third, using odd numbers, so I'm at a 5. Here's a 7, but I got to always flat the 7th in every chord, since this is not a major chord. We're going to flat the 7, and then you're going to have a 9, which is the same thing as a 2, and we said 1, 2. I could have used this D here, but I'm just stretching them out a little bit. And then you also have an 11, which is the same thing as a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, which is F. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is F. So 11 is 4. Let me do those one more time, so just in case I confuse you. I'm going to try to use 2 hands for this chorus. It's the board notes. 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 9, 11. One more time, using all odd numbers. We're going to flat the third because it's a minor 11th chord, and always flat the 7 since it's not a major chord. So that all odd numbers: 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 9, 11. And we're going to use what's called a minor 11th chord. Now I'm going to show you how to do it. We're still going to use every note, but it's a lot of different ways to play this. You can play it exactly like that if you want to. There's nothing wrong with playing it this exact same way. But I'm going to show you a more typical way that I play it, and also that have seen many other musicians play it. And so that you just have a typical, practical way of really playing a chord. Remember now I got 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 9, and 11. What I'm going to do, see this 1, which is a C, and a 5. In this case, since we're in the key of C, a 5 is a G. The 1 and a 5, I'm going to take out of the, I'm going to move them and where only the left hand does it. I know the left hand already doing it. But 7, 9, 11. Take your thumb and take away this minor. In other words, let the thumb take your minor chord. Now the left hand just have 1 and 5. So to make it where it's less confusing and show you how we really play it, I'm gonna move this 1 and this 5 way down just move it down. It could be here if you want, but I'm just moving it here. So I still have the 1, the 5. I just have that minor third here, your flat 7, 9, 11. Now technically that's how it's gonna be played. But to make it sound better, I'm gonna move the whole entire chord on the right hand down an octave. Same notes, just move it. I didn't invert it, I just moved it down an octave. So therefore, that would be a C minor 11 chord, C minor 11. I don't know if my hands are covering up the notes, but let me call them out so you can see it. C, G, E flat, B flat, D, and we already called D. So F. One more time, C, G, E flat, B flat, D, F. That's a C minor 11 chord. And I didn't show you this when we did the minor 9 chord. I showed you another kind of way to play the minor 11. I'm sorry, the minor 9 chord. But in your minor 9 chord, I'm probably confusing you. Maybe I shouldn't have showed you this, but since I mentioned, I'm going to go ahead and show you. All you got to do is take out this 11, and you can play the minor 9 just like that if you want. And that's not commonly how they play it or anything like that. I'm just showing you one way that you can play that minor 9 chord that we did earlier on a different video. But forget about that minor 9 because it's not what we're on. We're on the minor 11 chord. So that's your minor 11. Okay, let's move up. Let's do one more. Okay, now I'm doing what's called the C sharp minor 11. It's also called D flat minor 11 because D flat and C sharp are the same thing. So for right now, I'm gonna call it a D flat minor 11 chord. D flat minor 11 chord. Okay, how did I come up with that? Here's the D flat scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, don't get confused. I'll show you what I mean. 1, flat 3. We're using all odd numbers, by the way. It's a minor 11 chord, so we got a flat to third and a 7th since it's not a major chord. So 1, flat 3. In that case, it'll be an E. 5. That will make it a A flat. I'm just changing hands. We need a flat 7. Don't forget you're in the key of G flat. Then you need a 9. Don't get confused. The same thing's a 2. 1, 2. So I got there 9, which is a 2. And then you need an 11, which we said is the same thing as a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's your 9. That's your 11, which is the same thing as a 4. So right there, that's going to be your. I'm going to move everything down an octave. I should have started an octave lower in the first place. So I got 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 9, 11. That's your D flat minor 11 chord. And that's a pretty nice, beautiful chord there. You play it exactly like that. But I'm going to show you one typical way that I play it. I'm going to keep this, what I have in the right hand, just taking my thumb, making it free so that it'll grab that minor third that's down here. Now my left hand is left with the 1 and a 5. I'm just going to bring it down an octave, which is D flat, A flat. And your right hand would be E, B, E flat, G flat. So the way you learn the minor 11 chord, it's going to be kind of difficult to remember all them numbers. But you got to learn it for theory's sake, just so you know what the numbers are, what numbers make up the minor 11th, which is a 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, 9, and 11. But once you get it down in 1 or 2 keys, just start on any chord. In this key, I'm going to start off on the C minor 11 chord, which we did a minute ago. And just once you get it in one key, just take it up each note up a half step. I'm gonna do that again. Back to C minor 11. Take each note up a half step. Do it one more time to make sure you got them in C minor 11. Take each note up a half step. That way you get used to it. Now moving up a half step to a D minor 11. You might say, why did I call it a D? The bass note, your lowest note, in this case a bass note, is going to determine what chord you're on. That's a minor 11. I'm going to move everything up a half step again, each note. Okay? I'm just moving up half steps, and I'm moving kind of fast now because of time. Okay, move up again, moving all half steps. Move slowly at first until you get very, very comfortable with doing it. Moving it slow. Now I'm back to that C minor 11 again. I'm just moving down half steps now. I'm at C, B, B flat, A flat, that's A flat minor 11, G minor 11, G flat minor 11, F minor 11, E minor 11, E flat minor 11, D minor 11, D flat minor 11, C minor 11. So just get coming back between that. I'm using all the same chords, just minor 11, just playing around with them. That's all I'm doing. Have fun. The minor 11 chord.